What's up, guys? It is JD from Let It Rip Side by Side and Adventure. Long time no see. It has been a while. I know I kind of went like missing in action type deal, but it's one of those things we had to make some changes. Now, I'll kind of go over the reason why we had to make the changes. First, I'm going to comment on this crazy weather. I actually seen boats out on the river, motorcycles in town. It is the end of January, beginning of February here in Wisconsin, and as you can see, guys, we have absolutely next to no snow. I mean, this is extremely unusual. They have pulled all the shacks off the ice. They have closed down all the snowmobile trails. It has been an extremely weird season. So our winter content has been lack thereof because we have not had winter. That's part of the reason why I haven't made any content. Second off, I sold all the side-by-sides. As you can see right here, the garage is, let's boogie up here. I know it's dark in there, but it is empty. There's nothing in there. Now, did we replace it with something? Obviously we had to, because I love doing the YouTube thing. However, the side-by-sides for me have become extremely challenging for multiple different reasons. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because I seen a gentleman, he had posted the video and he kind of justified why I made the decision that I did, because a lot of the things he brought up is the same reason I felt about the side-by-side game. Now, first off, I want to get the family more into some of these adventures, and unfortunately when you've got to travel 10-12 hours at a time to go to some of these locations to film the same trails that have been filmed 9,000 times over again, I was getting burned out on it, not being able to take family and friends because of the drive time, the cost, everything that came along with it. I just couldn't justify it anymore. And then to, you know, come back, spend a boatload of time and effort into creating these videos, and I guess not saying that they weren't doing well, but the thing is the compensation that comes along the backside of this wasn't justified the thousands of dollars and the amount of time that was going into it. So decided to part ways with the side-by-sides, not only to try to get the family and friends and stuff a little more involved in it. The side-by-sides are just no longer the direction that I wanted to go. Not to mention that the aftermarket support for some of these high horsepower side-by-sides were astronomical. When, you know, in 2020 we got our first side-by-side, things were relatively affordable in regards to getting the A-arms and the trailing arms and all that stuff. Now you start, you know, talking aftermarket parts for a Pro R and all the miscellaneous stuff, it is extremely expensive. Now we've got a house we got to keep over our head, you know, life is expensive right now. So unfortunately I couldn't get into the aftermarket game like I had previously in 2020 because things have gotten extremely expensive. So to recap all that, the travel time, the amount of money, the effort, the ability to try to get people to join in on these adventures when you're driving 10, 12, 14, 20 hours away to some of these locations was next to impossible. However, we did change some things up. So without further ado, check it out. Boom, there they are, guys. Okay, so this is the, let's see, this is the old one. This is the one that I rode this last year that I took to Moab. I took it to Oklahoma. I took it to West Virginia. I took this thing all over the country and had just as much fun on that four-wheeler as I did on my side-by-sides. Now you're saying, oh, but the side-by-sides, I get the draw to the side-by-sides, but I have grown up, I was raised on the quads and the dirt bikes and the mopeds and the three-wheelers and all that stuff. So I guess getting back to your roots wasn't really necessarily the case, but in a sense it really was. You get more driver input, the wind in your face, the just overall riding experience for me is more fun on a four-wheeler. So I love that thing. I put 1,000 miles on that thing, took it up double black diamond trails, took it rock crawling. It's fast, I duned it, I jumped it, I did all kinds of things that I was able to with that four-wheeler that I could do with my side-by-side. So we decided to get the second one, bringing me back to the point of I want to get my wife and I want to get the kiddo more involved in the sport for what we, you know, want to do here in the future. So we picked up an identical rig. Same thing, 2023, 2023. This one has 2 miles on it. I'm not joking, it has 2 miles. We haven't even had the opportunity to break it in. I almost went with the 2024 model, but after doing some research between the 2022 and the 2024, there is absolutely no difference in drivetrain, chassis, power, engine, anything other than the colors. That's it. That's the only difference between one year and the next. So I was able to get this new old stock up in, let's see, northwest of St. Cloud. So from central Wisconsin, it was 6.5 hours one way, but I saved almost $4,000 to get into this rig versus buying the new model, and only difference was the color. And I am extremely OCD. Ask any one of my friends and they will tell you that exact same thing. So to have two rigs that are the same color, super pumped about that. So new changes, new scrambler, old scrambler. Wife is super excited because she's kind of like I was. She grew up on the four-wheelers. She didn't have the side-by-sides and stuff. As the industry changed and grew, she was a four-wheeler. So she's super pumped. Now the kiddo, he's working on getting his ATV safety course so he can legally ride one as well. Now, we did make some more changes. Next change is this one, which is a big one. Now, you guys are familiar with Big Red. Big Red was our tow rig that we had for quite a while. It took us all over the country. It was a great truck, but it was not a pocketbook friendly or practical rig for anything outside of it being a workhorse. Now, I knew that was indeed the case when I first got that rig, but I just, like I said, I kind of changed directions. The amount of time and effort and money that was going into keeping up with the side-by-sides and doing the traveling with those rigs, I couldn't justify holding on to it. So for like 2.5 months, found this thing. Check it out. We got a Tacoma. I know that's crazy. You're gonna be like, how in the world did you go from a 2500 Dodge Ram with a 6.4 gasser to a little Toyota Tacoma V6, 3.5 liter V6, and I love it, okay? One of the main reasons why I chose to go this route is because my wife, she drives for a living. She has a Toyota RAV4, and she has 160,000 miles on that in less than 4 years in that car. We still got original brakes, original ball joints, original shocks. Everything is original besides the tires, air filters, and fluid changes. That car has been bulletproof. Now, my dad, he drove Toyotas growing up. That was what he drove. He'd get 200,000-300,000 miles on those rigs and not think twice about it. So I guess for me, not only the dependability, but the creature comforts that come along with this Toyota is great. Now, it is the TRD edition, as you can see here. And then I drove it off the edge of the driveway a couple times when we did have a little bit of snow just to see what it did. And it doesn't even, you can't even tell the bumps are there. So, you know, we wanted the dependability, we wanted the gas mileage, we wanted the pocket friendly aspect of things. Now, it does have a couple more miles. This is a 2019, but I was pretty much able to trade my Ram straight up for this and didn't end up putting myself a little further in debt because, like I said, price tags were pretty close to the same. So it does have all the bells and whistles, guys. It does have, let's check out the back. We'll start back there. And we do have a lot of plans with this as well. So now it does have the fold-up tonneau cover, which is absolutely great. Give me a second here. I'm going to, I don't know if I can do this one-handed. Yep, it does have the fold-up tonneau cover. But then this is another thing too. Part of what we plan on doing in the future is some overlanding. I know that sounds crazy, but that's kind of what, but it does have the deck system in here. We did have that installed, which is great. It's got both your drawers, all your things as far as the stuff is concerned. Now, the reason for that is with all the camera gear, all the camping gear, all the stuff we plan on doing, we don't want to have to store all that stuff in cab. We want to have a way to keep it clean, dry, and you can lock these up. As you can see, where's the keyhole? Oh, we didn't put those in yet. But anyway, they are lockable. Once you get to that point, you can lock these up, which is absolutely great. Now, on top of that, it does have all the cubby holes on the side here to be able to store your stuff inside the wheel well. Here, let me roll this up a little further. Now, in the future, we plan on, see, your cubby holes on the side, both sides. So Some people like them, some people don't. Some people say they're a waste of space, but the thing is I cannot fit one of those in the back of there, so it served me absolutely no purpose other than having a useless bed back here. So being able to store camping gear and all that miscellaneous stuff, and best part is the rating on this is just as good as the bed of your truck, so I can still haul stuff in the back of it, which we don't think we're going to be able to eventually, because we actually ordered a couple things for the Tacoma. We have an Overlander tent coming that is the kind of like the rooftop tent or whatever the case is. It will attach to the racking system that goes on the back of here, so we can pull up to some of these locations that we go to. Don't have to spend the money on a hotel, don't have to spend the money on lodging. We can pull up to BLM land in some of these locations, flip out our tent, and go from there. Now we are going to accessorize it with jerry cans, all our camping gear, and you're saying, how in the world is this little Toyota Tacoma going to haul all this stuff? And we've already kind of thought about that, and there will be more to come on that aspect, because the truck is fully loaded, but it does not have the monitoring systems that my Ram did. I can't check transmission temperature, I can't keep an eye on oil pressure, can't keep an eye on a lot of those things because it does not have that stuff. It does not have that type of monitoring system inside of this truck, which is kind of a bummer, but there's ways around that, and we will have a future video. There's ways that I can hook up to my OBD2 port and utilize a couple systems to be able to monitor what this truck is doing, because I realize I'm not going to be able to like make it at like rocket speed or like warp speed, because it is only a 3.5 V6. Now it will pull 6,000 pounds, so I do have to take into consideration that this is only a mid-size pickup. So like I said, we are going to add airbags, we are going to add several different things to this rig to make it tow friendly. But I'm going to hop in the other side to show you what this thing's all about, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I am pretty super pumped about this thing. You know, as you can see here, it does have 76,000 miles, which is about twice as much as my Ram had on it. But so far, not one time in my Ram have I seen 20 plus miles to the gallon, which I do get with this truck. I'm 21, 22 miles to the gallon on the highway. Obviously it's less when I'm pulling that, but we are willing to sacrifice the gas mileage for towing when we're not towing and just overlanding and exploring and camping what comes along with the Tacoma. Not to mention, it is one of the most customizable rigs in the industry. Now this one did come with all the bells and whistles. Obviously you can see we've got heated seats, you know, you've got all your ECT power for towing, you've got your blind spot monitoring, it does have some fog lights, it's even got, freaking power rear windows, you know. Never had stuff like that, so super excited. Does have your wireless charging, all your dual climate control, does have the nice JBL sound system, everything is Bluetooth as far as that stuff's concerned. Got your sunroof, and what's cool is it does have all your, I don't know if you can see that, there you go. It does have, you know, lockers, it does have 4 low, 4 high, obviously it is 4-wheel drive, but it has your crawl modes, it has everything from, you name it, on the off-road aspect of things. It is a very, what I feel, going to be a very capable rig. So days that we go to like Moab, or if we go back to Moab, when we go out to Chicken's Corners and stuff like that, versus baking to death on a side-by-side, which there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm not saying that there is. I can sit in an air-conditioned plush interior of this Toyota Tacoma, bomb out to the end of some of these canyons, check out Chicken's Corners, and if we want, when the overlanding setup is done on this thing, we can flip our tent out sitting at the end of the canyon at BLM and have a great experience, because we do plan on getting like some solar power banks and some cooking supplies and all the stuff that comes along with overlanding we plan on doing with this rig. You know, and it does have some pretty cool features. It's got your pitch and roll features, everything that you could think of as far as a little off-roading rig, this truck has. So super stoked about that, you know. But I guess to summarize all this, guys, I know this is just like a, you know, a ramble video or whatever the case is, but I love doing the side-by-side content. I really did enjoy that. I loved Big Red. It was a great truck and I never had any problems with it. I'm just trying to come down to a more budget-friendly way to explore the outdoors, to have some adventures, to do some of the things that we've been doing at a more affordable price tag, where not only we can incorporate my wife and the kid and family and friends, because I think the adventure will be a little more enjoyable when we don't have to go 10-12 hours to do some of the camping and some of the things, because that's what we want to focus on as far as the channel is concerned. We want to focus on the adventure side of things, you know, the cooking the dinners and the banters around the campfire and the different types of tents and gear and stuff we use to go out and explore the outdoors, because I do miss having my wife, I do miss having my friends, and I do miss having the kiddo on some of these adventures. So I feel this is the best way to incorporate all of the above. The wife's super stoked about the overlanding camping, and we should really see how this, I guess, pans out. You know, so she's got her scrambler right there. Definitely we are going to continue to create the off-road content with the scramblers, because I've told you that, and I've told you that again, one of the most capable rigs in the industry are those scramblers, and the places they will take you are like no others. And to be honest, there's more accessible routes on the four-wheeler than there is on the side-by-side, because there is a lot of 50-inch trails, there is a lot of, you know, width restricted trails or ATV trails that you can't take a side-by-side that we can now do with these two scramblers. So we've got Big Blue, haven't named Toyota, haven't named the wife's, but that I guess is kind of where we're at, guys. We've got the Toyota Tacoma. We're going to set it up for the overland and the exploring side of things, and possibly doing some exploring with this. We want to get a roof rack. We're getting our overlander set up in there. We're putting airbags on it. We are going to get a bumper with a winch with some more lighting and some other stuff. And then obviously we're going to stick a little bit of money into these. Now the scramblers, we're not 100% sure how much as far as performance mods we're going to stick into them, because quite honestly we don't know if that's necessary with these, and I've kind of proven that it isn't. But we do have some mods and some modifications that are going on here, which if you guys are still with me, you will see on the next video. We actually have them sitting in the garage. We're going to add a little bit to my wife's, we're going to add a little bit to mine to make them a little more enjoyable for long distance trips, and that will be coming up in the next video. After that, you will most likely see the monitoring system that I'm setting up for the Tacoma. Now we can use that for more than just the Tacoma, so if you guys have a similar vehicle or something like that and you want to be able to keep an eye on your transmission temperature, oil pressure, if we get that all set up and working properly, we will share that with you guys so you can set up a similar system in your own vehicle to be able to monitor what's going on. Because we realize by the time you add all the gear and all the miscellaneous other stuff to these rigs and stuff and to the Tacoma, it's going to be heavy. That's going to be a lot of weight for that little Toyota Tacoma to pull. But if we keep an eye on it, we take our time, we set it up right, we can see not only these two four-wheelers, but that Tacoma taking us to some of the same places that those side-by-sides were. And we can throw a tent up, we can enjoy the outdoors, and I can do it closer to home with family and friends. Super excited, super stoked. I know this is a lot of rambling, and this is kind of the reveal video on what's been going on behind closed doors and some of the reasoning on why we did what we did. So I appreciate each and every one of you, and we will continue to create content with all three of these awesome rigs. And until then, like we always say, guys, on to the next adventure.